What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn on this motherfucking YouTube shit. Wow, what the fuck?
What's up? It's your boy Kevin to turn YouTube shit. Hey man, say man, we are Let the team turn to motherfucker. Hey, show you outside. Big Crip in the gang. Show you outside shit, man. Free Palestine, free Congo. Russia do your thing and Texas stand the fuck up. Each day is a new day. Be a better version of yourself. Never let somebody bring you down. I'll fight back. Never let somebody tell you who you are. Also never put yourself in a position that don't belong. Let's stay humble. Let's get on revolution on the movement. Keep y'all way first. Coming to you, the Black Hebrew Israelite. As a real Jew, we out here. Alright. Boom. Today, to motherfucker. Hey, show you outside. Big Crip in the gang. Show you outside shit, man. Gang. Yo! Turn up. In this video, man, we got something that, like, this is what kind of confused me. Like I tell people, man, it don't matter who you date in life, man. You know what I'm saying? Because you could date a black woman and still be on some whole shit to try to fuck over your own community. You know what I'm saying? You can still be on some fuck shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I always say it's the person, it's your actions. We got Shannon Sharpe. You know what I'm saying? You know, this motherfucker, bruh. This nigga, bruh, it's sad because he was talking shit about black women. You know, I love my black women. I talk shit about my black women, but I ain't gonna be on some fuck shit like I ain't gonna date no black women because this, nigga, I'm gonna always date my black women. The fuck? Crip. Nigga. But this nigga talking about he didn't like because they nappy head, they hoes and this. Bruh, now he done got hit with a $50 million lawsuit, fired from his job, losing his whole career. They trying to hit this nigga again with another. Man, this shit is getting crazy. Like they trying to ruin Shannon Sharpe, bro. And like I tell y'all people, man, y'all be cooning and buffooning for these white people, man. These white people don't really care about us. Especially they on some slavery shit. You know what I'm saying? And think about Shannon Sharpe, he wouldn't even pay for his own daughter's wedding. Let's get into this bitch. Shout out to Chaz NBA. This is just a little clip about what's going on with the Shannon Sharpe situation. Bro, I tell these niggas every time, man. Don't fall for the scam, man. It's tough out here on these streets.
Shannon Sharpe has been fired from Espn, and I spoke about it in a video earlier today, but he hasn't actually been at Espn since April.
And what makes me mad is,
and about 2 weeks ago, he settled that lawsuit and has since been fired. But here's what he had to say about it.
I'm sure everybody's heard the news by now that I will not be returning.
This nigga done retired a white girl
this information
on OnlyFans.
And really, the only thing that I really ask is like,
he gave this bitch over $23 million, allegedly.
My brother's going into the
He ain't giving this dirt $23 million.
I really wanted to be about
he ain't giving a random black person in his family $23 million that he don't talk to.
This coming out will overshadow.
That's what we trying to tell black people, man.
Life force. And unfortunately, it didn't happen that way. And so, as I told him, as I profusely apologized to him,
you just created generational wealth
bro, stop apologizing
for a white girl.
You don't have to apologize. I'm your big bro. I'm gonna love you regardless. We all make mistakes. And he says, bro, I love you. So I'm done with this. You done with it too. Move on. And
it's gonna cost you your job.
I really enjoyed my time at ESPN. It gave me an opportunity to bring my audience that saw me really just grow They saw me, Lakers in 5, and they saw me say all these analogies that my grandparents gave me, and I was able to bring that to ESPN. So I'm very, very grateful for that. But I just wished, of all things, like I said, hey, they did what they felt they needed to do, and I'm at peace with that.
Nobody's perfect.
But I just
you know
wish,
what I'm saying?
guys,
Y'all
I
make
just
mistakes,
wish
but
this
this shit's
thing
crazy.
could have waited until Monday, because I hate the fact that I'm overshadowing my brother, the first 2 brothers in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and this is what the headline's going to be for the next couple of days. So, bro, again, I know you told me this. I don't have to apologize, but I'm going to do it one final time tonight, and I won't apologize again. I'm sorry that I upstaged you in this manner. That was never my intent. You've been my hero. You've been my role model from as long as I can remember, and I apologize.
Damn, man.
And I thank all my fans for supporting me when I was at ESPN and every place that I've been, be it Club Shay Shay, Nightcap, Undisputed, ESPN. Thank you guys for your support.
Damn. Shout out to the lead attorney. He breaks down why Shannon Sharpe paid up to $50 million to an OnlyFans girl.
All right, guys, we have learned that Shannon Sharpe has just paid tens of millions of dollars for this.
The biggest.
Oh my gosh.
To a reptilian. A reptilian. 50 M's. This is insane.
Oh my god. Thank you, Hunt, for the tip.
What's going on?
I can't take the panties off and do it until we get to our next tip goal. Our next tip goal. Take panties off. I can't take it and take panties off.
Insane. To this shit?
Oh, take my panties
This
off.
drum mayonnaise looking ass bitch.
I'm gonna rub the lotion. And then, maybe, you can wait on it? Okay. Once we get to our 1,500...
This bitch done retired from OnlyFans.
Of course, as we all know, this is
like
the
these,
beautiful,
they
wonderful
deserve to be on
Gabby
OnlyFans,
Zuniga.
making
This
that
was
fucking
Shannon
little bit
Sharpe's
of money on
girlfriend for
bitch.
2
Yo,
years.
retarded
She's
hoe.
talking about how she will remove certain articles of clothing
retarded
for
hoe.
$1,500 a piece. You got to reach
Get
these
your
tip
hustle
goals so that she will show
This
more
nigga
of her
retired
skin
this
to you.
hoe.
Now, this is on her OnlyFans account, where she is talking to hundreds, if not thousands of men trying to collect this $1,500. But she has just reached a settlement with Shannon Sharpe that is worth tens of millions of dollars. Let me ask you, look at her now. She's beautiful, correct?
Hell no.
Would you pay her tens of millions?
Fuck
Does
no.
she deserve it? As a quick recap,
Hell
you'll
no.
remember
Feel
that
like you got beat in
Shannon
the face
met
with
this
that.
girl, Gabby, at the gym. She was 19 years old at the time,
Hell
and
no.
Shannon was like 56.
50 in for
She
that?
ended up filing a lawsuit in the beginning of this year against Shannon for $50
Bugsy.
million. What was she claiming? She was alleging that when Shannon was at her gym, he was harassing her for her phone number. So this NFL Hall of Fame player is harassing her for her digits, but she gave it to him. Then this girl, Gabby, says, oh, well, Shannon Sharpe was harassing me for him to go over to his house. He wanted me to go over there. And then, of course, she went. And not only did she go the first time, but she kept going back. She kept going back. Now, what did she say? She says during this time when she was going over to Shannon's house, Shannon was abusing her. This is what she put in her complaint, all of these allegations of abuse. But she would claim that all this abuse was occurring, and then she would send Shannon Sharpe texts like this. You can see Gabby here sends Shannon a text saying, hey, I want to be abused, daddy. So she's asking for the same abuse that she's alleging that Shannon Sharpe did to her. She was complaining in her lawsuit that Shannon Sharpe was a monster, that Shannon would tie her up. But then what would this same girl tell Shannon in text messages? She wants to sue Shannon for $50 million for tying her up. And then she sends Shannon a text saying, I want you to tie me up like this and abuse me, daddy. This girl, Gabby, was complaining that Shannon would record her having intimate relations with him. But then in her own
She got mad because
she admits to having sex with Shannon on FaceTime in front of Shannon's childhood friends like Bucket. Imagine the audacity of her suing Shannon for $50 million for recording them having sex together when both of them know that he's on FaceTime with his friend's Bucket saying, hey, look at her, Bucket. I got a good one, don't I? This girl is absolutely ridiculous. But guess what? This girl is laughing at Shannon all the way to the bank. She didn't need to study, didn't need to go to college, didn't need to sacrifice, and now she has generational wealth. Probably you and I will ever see in our lifetimes. So let me ask you, was this the whole plan from the beginning? Was it extortion? Well, she certainly got paid. Just look at what she wrote. Here is what Gabby wrote regarding the settlement. She says, today, I have decided to retire.
Return to OnlyFans hole is insane, nigga. This scallywag, reptilian, copyright-looking motherfucker.
This community has given me a life.
You gonna keep these hoes on the strip, nigga? Keep these hoes struggling, ho. What are you talking about?
I'll still be active on social media and have several new projects in the works.
Type of hoe like this, you gonna keep these hoes struggling on the strip, nigga. Get that pussy abused, nigga. Hell no.
All forever and ever.
They don't deserve no paradise, nigga.
This is so sad. Shannon Sharpe is out here retiring OnlyFans models.
What the fuck?
So sad. Shannon Sharpe is out here retiring OnlyFans models. And here is Gabby's attorney, Tony Busby, confirming the settlement of the lawsuit. What does Tony say? He says on April 20th of 2025, the Busby law firm filed a complaint.
This nigga ain't getting a nigga nothing. This nigga ain't getting a nigga a dime. He returned OnlyFans hoes. OnlyFans hoes.
Shannon Sharpe on behalf of our client Gabby.
Pimping the penny to these hoes. But don't want to help real niggas out.
And tumultuous relationship. After protracted and respectful negotiations, I am pleased to announce that we have reached a mutually agreed upon resolution. All matters have now been addressed satisfactorily, and the matter is closed. The lawsuit will thus be dismissed with prejudice. And dismissed with prejudice just means that Gabby is not allowed to refile this ever again. She can make no further claim.
Well, I mean, she done already ruined his fucking career.
Got this money, her lips are permanently sealed. Now, the question is, how much money did Shannon Sharpe pay Gabby Zuniga? Well, I'm going to tell you my best professional educated guess on that amount. But first, we need to ask, why did he settle at all? When Gabby first filed this $50 million complaint, so many people took to social media to say, hey, Shannon Sharpe should not settle, shouldn't offer this girl a dime.
He already said he's like the white bunny
the case, he would be acknowledging that he's guilty of these allegations. They said that his reputation was worth fighting for, and he should go to the ends of the earth to contest this case.
That's a fact.
Now, I've made a few videos on this topic, and I have said in each and every one of those videos that this case will be settled. It will never see the first day of trial. I have practiced over 20 years and negotiated countless times, and I know the whole playbook. This case was never about Shannon Sharpe's guilt or innocence. Remember, this Gabby, she never went to the police. She never filed any type of police report. She never tried to get Shannon arrested for any of this alleged abuse that she's complaining about in this $50 million lawsuit. This entire situation was only about one thing. It was about the dollar. Now, you may say, well, Lead, if this case was about money, why did Shannon offer to pay this girl millions of dollars? Shouldn't he have fought this case to protect his reputation? The answer is no. When Shannon's attorney let it slip,
how much they would have ruined his reputation in court?
This girl Gabby over $10 million.
Going into
didn't
details?
offer to settle this case in any type of guilt or innocence framework. If I'm going to be honest, in a very real way, Shannon settled this case for you. You say for me? What do you mean by that, Lee? Listen, the only reason Shannon makes any money at all is because of you and how you feel about him, how you judge him.
It would have ruined his career. If he would have went to court and they would have went into details,
you exist and you have
it would have been over.
And so companies want to get in front of you. These companies feel like you hold hold Shannon Sharpe in a certain esteem, and you watch Shannon Sharpe, so they want to use Shannon Sharpe to get in front of you. When Shannon Sharpe teamed up with Cat Williams on that famous episode of his podcast, a lot of people were trying to figure out how much money did he make. Well, Shannon was being coy about the situation, saying, hey, I made however much you think I made. But Gabby let it slip that Shannon said to her, this is her allegation, that he made $6 million on that one episode.
Man, it's just like Sansa and Delilah.
$6 million.
You don't tell these white hoes, you don't tell these hoes everything.
YouTube to have their ads on that episode, and then YouTube split the money that they got from the companies with Shannon. So Shannon got a lot of money by chopping up this ad revenue from companies that sent the money to YouTube. YouTube says, Shannon, we got all of this money. We are going to keep 45%. We're going to give you 55%. And again, that's money that YouTube received from companies to get in front of Shannon Sharpe's audience. Who is Shannon Sharpe's audience? It's you. Now, in addition to that, Shannon may have had some sponsorships, some brand deals from who? From companies who wanted to get in front of you. And if he would have been in court, they would have lost way more brand deals. So it's so important for Shannon that you see him in a good light. Because if you don't, then companies will not want to pay him to get in front of you. You're not going to watch him if you don't like him. Take Joe Rogan for a second. A lot of people like Joe Rogan, and Spotify gave Joe $100 million to get in front of Joe Rogan's audience. Then when that first contract for $100 million ended, Spotify gave Joe an additional $250 million. That's $350 million that Joe Rogan received just so that Spotify can get in front of his audience. Now Shannon Sharpe is looking at that and saying, well, wait a minute. Joe had the biggest podcast episode of all time on YouTube, but I did an episode and it surpassed Joe. Now I have the biggest episode. So me and Joe, really, we're kind of doing the same thing. We're kind of neck and neck. If Joe can get $100 million, why can't I? Honestly, if Joe can get $250 million, why can I not get the same money? So Shannon is looking at this and saying, hey, the most important thing for me is to stay marketable so that these companies want to get in front of you. If you like me, then these companies will want to pay me to get in front of you. So Shannon wanted to sell this case because he didn't want you to look at him all crazy. Well, why would you look at him all crazy? Shannon Sharpe thought that maybe some of his audience would be offended that Shannon liked to engage in all this race play in his relationship. Shannon likes to have all these white women say, hey, I want you to put a big black baby. We all know Shannon's from the deep south and he's older. He's from the generation where
he like that slave shit.
Didn't have a lot of money and they were using the bathrooms and outhouses. Shannon didn't have indoor plumbing until he was in high school or college. Apparently Shannon's upbringing in those times have influenced how he is today, and he likes to engage in race play, have these racial themes throughout his relationships. Maybe some of Shannon's audience would look at him like, man, I can't rock with that. They may say, you're a sick man. If people are offended and they stop watching him, then his audience shrinks. And if your audience shrinks, now companies are not going to want to pay you the same. Maybe Shannon thought that some of his audience would be turned off or offended by all of this domination that Shannon would introduce into his relationships. It's well known that this 2-year relationship with Shannon and Gabby was rocky. It was tumultuous. And Gabby had alleged that they got into an argument once and Shannon said, you disrespected me. Now I have to punish this butthole. Shannon Sharpe doesn't want you to know that. Shannon may think that some of his audience, some of the women, might be turned off by anal destruction. Why on earth would Spotify pay Shannon Sharpe $250 million if Spotify is going to start getting emails from all these women saying, hey, why are you supporting Shannon Sharpe? We all know how fickle and sensitive these companies can be. They will drop you in a heartbeat. Shannon does not want to give any of these sponsors any ammunition, any reason to withdraw their support. Hold up. Let's take a pause from this $50 million craziness for a quick word from our sponsor, Chapter Medicare. If you or someone you love say dumpster fire. Now, me personally, I don't care what you do in the bedroom as long as it's consensual and and everybody's having fun. But these companies are not like that. They cannot take a lot of heat. They cannot take pressure from the community, from their audience, telling them to cancel somebody. And here in this case, you've got a black man who's almost 60 putting apparently dog collars on 19-year-old white girls talking about, I'm going to choke you out and I'm going to destroy your rectum. There's no way that Spotify wants to pay $250 million for that. It's obvious that Shannon Sharpe had to settle this case, not for any type of guilt or innocence framework, but he had to settle it for you so that you don't look differently upon him. If he can keep everything that Gabby knows a secret, then you see him as Big Unc. You see him as Shay Shay. You see him as schooling Ocho Cinco. Ocho's writing down all of Shannon's wise words.
If people wonder why they don't get the blessing that someone else, ask yourself. See, you think you're doing everything right, but see, God know your heart. See, you can fool everybody else, but you can't fool that man upstairs, and you wonder why.
Yeah, we can.
But you can't
Sometimes God tell us to wait.
Ask yourself.
A lot of the wicked get the stuff they need. A lot of the wicked get what they need because they do wickedness. God tell people to wait.
Some old dummy who's paying women tens of millions of dollars to put dog collars on.
The wicked get paid. The wicked gonna get paid. The wicked gonna get rich. But the wicked gonna fuck up.
I will pay $10 million on the front end to
God gonna bless people, but it take time. It's not just gonna be an overnight type of situation.
To get $250 million on the back end. That's exactly what Shannon should do. I myself
Everybody in the Bible wasn't rich.
$10 million if I can turn around in the same instance and get $100 million right back.
Don't get what they get because they scamming and scheming
forever and then get a check for $200 million. I would do that all day
long. Look what happens when we get caught up.
Celebrities have done in the past. That's what Shannon has done right now, and that's what celebrities and these athletes and people with money, that's what they're going to continue to do in the future. All of the people saying that Shannon shouldn't settle, shouldn't pay this girl a dime, they don't know how the game is played. I can tell you as a 20-year attorney that this is exactly
my opinion,
how
I
you do it. Now, let's ask ourselves, how much money did this girl Gabby receive? If we look again at Tony's announcement
but it's still
of the settlement,
I don't know.
There are no numbers that are shown.
Almost
always in these settlements, the terms of the agreement are confidential. You remember when Puffy settled with Cassie. No one knew how much Cassie received until Cassie had to testify on the stand and disclose that she actually got $30 million. So the question is, how much did Gabby receive? Well, I will tell you that in my personal, educated opinion, I believe that Gabby got $33 million. Now you say, well, Lead, how did you come up with that number?
33?
Well, let me tell you. We have to remember that Gabby hired an attorney. She hired Big Tony. I promise you that Tony does not work for free. We lawyers, we attorneys, we charge on cases like this on a contingency basis. That means that we only make money if you win the case, but we are going to take a percentage. Now, how much is the percentage? Usually, it's 30% if we can get the case resolved, if we can get it settled before we have to file a lawsuit. But if we have to file a lawsuit, then our percentage bumps up to 40. Now, there are no hard and fast rules. This is just in general what attorneys charge. So we know that Tony filed the lawsuit, so let's say that he's going to get 40%. If Gabby's total compensation is $33 million, then Tony's 40% is $13.3 million. How much does that leave Gabby? It leaves her with $20 million.
Yes,
that's right. The girl that you see on the screen has gotten a wire transfer for $20 million, in my opinion. Ask yourself, is she worth it? Stop for a second to point out that it's commonplace nowadays on social media to have this kind of gender war, this men against women. A lot of men are asking women, well, hey, what are you actually bringing to the table?
Nothing.
A lot of men think women's standards are too high. These women say, I am the table. Don't take me out to the Cheesecake Factory. Take me to fine dining. Take me on trips first class. Buy me these $50,000 Birkin bags. things. The men are saying, well, why would I do that? You're not worth it.
Yeah,
and the
like
women say, yes, I am, and they point to this. These women say, you're crazy if you think that I'm not on par with Gabby. I'm a 10. If Gabby got $20 million, why can't I? These women look around and see these cases where men are paying so much money to, let's be honest, kind of average-looking women. They say, well, why would I expect less if people like Gabby can get tens of millions of dollars? You can't take me to fine dining? If she's worth $20 million, I at least have to be worth $15 million, right? And if we're honest, it is a fact that this girl got millions and millions of dollars. So who's right in this situation? Let me ask you, how much would you pay Gabby? We saw that she was charging $25,000 per cheek. Is it worth it? These are really interesting times we are living in. Now, let's do this as final question. I think that Gabby asked for $33 million so she could break Tony off 13 and keep 20. We know that Cassie got $30 million. The question is, how do you view Cassie getting $30 million while Gabby gets 20? Whose situation do you think is better? We know that Cassie had to endure 10 years of abuse, if we can be honest, from Puffy, but she got 30. Gabby, let's say, only gets 20, but she only had to date Shannon for 2 years. So Gabby gets $20 million, but she saves 8 years of her youth. We know for Cassie to get the 30, she was getting beat on. We saw the hotel video. We saw the video where she was hiding up under that blanket with Puffy stomping on her. She got to 30, but then Gabby over here, she's getting choked out. She has a dog collar on her. There's some rectal obliteration going on, but she gets the 20. Who do you think of the two women came out better? Cassie had to have sexual relations with all of these different men. Shannon Sharpe was recording himself and Gabby having sex in front of his childhood friends, in front of Bucket. Shannon had Bucket right on the FaceTime. Oh, look at her, Bucket, look at her. That's what this girl had to endure, having sex with damn near 60-year-old Shannon Sharpe in front of Bucket. Who do you think came out better? She's getting the $20 million, in my opinion, while Cassie gets the 30. Put in the comments who you think got the better end of the deal between Cassie and Gabby, and I will tell you, as the lead attorney, that the winner in all of this is Tony Busby.
You
don't have to answer the question.
That's a fact.
I'll answer the question.
Shout out to protect Black legacy. I mean, that's what it goes. That's how it goes, man. You try to keep your T's crossed and your I's dotted, but some fuck shit happens.
All right, it's official. No more Unk vibes at the worldwide leader in sports. ESPN has cut ties with former NFL tight end turned media personality Shannon Sharpe after the Hall of Famer settled a $50 million
to a white lady.
Shannon Sharpe just got fired from ESPN after settling a $50 million lawsuit. But this story goes way deeper than you think.
I didn't want to get with a white woman because I was scared she might have me running down the street like Jonathan Bell. Not because I didn't like white women. I think white women are as great as any other women. But I'm not going to act like I'm not scared of them. I have a reason to be scared. You could be Kang the Conqueror, and they could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends.
Cat Williams tried to warn this man.
Crazy.
Sat right there on Shannon's own couch and told him exactly what would happen if he kept chasing these young white women. Shannon just laughed it off, thinking Cat was being overly dramatic. What Shannon didn't realize was that Cat was being prophetic.
Will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week.
From the top of the media world to unemployed and broke in less than 2 years. All because he couldn't listen to the people trying to save his life. But it wasn't just Cat. Monique was out here trying to save this man too.
You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you.
This is the story of how Shannon Sharpe revealed he is not who we thought he was. What makes Shannon Sharpe's downfall so tragic is that it was completely preventable. Multiple people saw the danger coming and tried to warn him, but Shannon was too arrogant to listen. When Cat Williams sat down for that historic Club Shay Shay interview in January 2024, he wasn't just there to expose other comedians. He was dropping real knowledge about survival in Hollywood.
Part of that knowledge included a very specific warning about the dangers that successful black men face.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about.
Kat was explaining how the industry tests you, how they try to compromise you, and how you have to be willing to say no to protect yourself. But then he got even more specific about romantic relationships and their dangers. The Jonathan Majors reference in Kat's warning wasn't random. It was a direct parallel to what would eventually happen to Shannon. Majors had been on top of the world with Marvel contracts and major film roles, but a domestic violence case involving a white woman destroyed his entire career practically overnight. Kat saw the same pattern forming with Shannon and tried to redirect him.
Remember I told you the story from when I'm in the park? So these are just the things, I had all of those when I came in. I already was ready for that. That's what they don't like.
I did not know. You're telling me and showing me a side of the business that I didn't know.
This was Shannon acknowledging that Kat was teaching him things about the industry that he didn't know. Kat was literally educating him about the traps and pitfalls that destroy careers. But when it came to the specific warning about white women and the dangers they posed, Shannon couldn't see how it applied to him. But Shannon's response revealed everything about his mindset. Instead of taking the warning seriously, he treated it like entertainment. He didn't understand that Kat wasn't speaking from paranoia. He was speaking from pattern recognition and genuine concern. The lawsuit that would eventually destroy Shannon's ESPN career perfectly matches what Kat warned about. A much younger white woman, a relationship that went bad, allegations that destroyed his reputation, and a career that couldn't survive the controversy. Kat had seen this exact movie play out with other successful black men, and he tried to save Shannon from becoming the next victim. But Kat Williams wasn't the only one trying to save Shannon from himself. Just 1 month after that January 2024 interview, another voice of wisdom would sit on that same Club Shay Shay couch and deliver an even more specific warning. And this time, the prophet would be Monique. If Kat's warning was subtle and philosophical, Monique's intervention was direct and unmistakable. When she appeared on Club Shay Shay, she didn't just offer general advice. She looked Shannon in the eye and told him exactly what he needed to do to avoid destroying his life.
You don't need no 26-year-old girl. You don't need no 36-year-old girl. This is your auntie talking to you.
Monique understood something that Shannon refused to acknowledge. The fundamental mismatch between what he was pursuing and what would actually make him happy.
The young guys don't even know how to fuck right.
She wasn't being funny when she told him to find an older woman who could bake cakes and rub his feet. She was giving him a blueprint for stability and genuine love. But her warning went deeper than just relationship advice. She understood the specific dangers that come with age gap relationships, especially for high-profile men.
When they want you to go for the 4th round, you looking at her like, bitch, listen, I need you want some money to go to Starbucks? Because I can't go no further. But if you get your older girl, when you get to that 4th round, she's going to say, hold on. Let me go get you some eggs and cheese.
Hell yeah. That's why I like older women, man, because they more experienced. But sometimes the older women act like little kids. You gotta get the right woman.
Approaching 60,
you get your right woman,
to keep up with someone
they'll
in their
take care of your
20s,
ass.
the physical and emotional
These young ass
demands
bitches
become
they be on
unsustainable.
some fuck shit half
That
time.
mismatch creates
It better
frustration,
kids, you know?
which creates conflict,
You might have
which eventually creates the kind
of
of toxic situations that end in lawsuits. The most prophetic part of Monique's appearance was how she understood that Shannon's choices weren't just about romance. They were about ego and validation. She could see that he was chasing young women to feel young himself, but she knew that path led to destruction.
These young gals will bite you. Okay?
Okay, guess I gotta come on home.
Come on home, Shannon.
Even the way Monique delivered her advice showed how much she cared about
he still might not come home.
She wasn't trying to embarrass him or make him look bad.
It's not Kansas no more, Toto.
Trying to save him from making catastrophic mistakes. She called herself his auntie and spoke to him with the kind of tough love that family members give when they see you heading toward disaster. Now, watching Shannon's career implode exactly as Monique predicted, her words sound like prophecy. She told him to find an older woman who would genuinely care for him.
These niggas are
but
celebrities.
instead, he pursued
They know stuff
a
around the
relationship with
celebrity
someone
that people don't
young
know,
enough
you know?
to be his granddaughter.
They probably been knowing
The
this shit.
result was exactly what Monique warned about. A situation that bit him and ultimately destroyed everything he had worked for. When the $50 million lawsuit was filed in April 2025, it validated every warning that Cat Williams and Monique had given Shannon. The allegations painted a picture of exactly the kind of toxic relationship that both comedians had tried to steer him away from. According to the legal documents, Shannon's relationship with his accuser began when she was 20 years old, and he was 56. This wasn't just an age gap. It was a generational divide that created inherent power imbalances and communication problems. The lawsuit described a pattern where Shannon allegedly became controlling, using his size and influence to intimidate someone who was barely out of her teens when their relationship began.
But what that mean though?
That Monique
when she ended up
when she told Shannon he couldn't handle relationships with much younger women.
Nigga, what?
Shannon's attorney's statement
Who the real
revealed
victim?
that Shannon had initially offered
taking dick.
millions of
Cause
dollars
that's what
to
she
keep
do.
the case
Take dick as
private.
an OnlyFans.
When that
She's a
failed,
slut.
all the intimate details came flooding out.
And then this nigga.
This is precisely what Cat Williams
lost his
meant
whole
when he
career.
warned about situations that could take your rabbit ass down in 2 weekends. The most damaging aspect
That's what she
wasn't just
do.
the
She gets
allegations
fucked on
themselves.
camera.
It was how they confirmed the pattern that both Cat and Monique had identified. Shannon was pursuing relationships that put him at risk,
you a girl or boy.
ignoring the advice of people who genuinely cared about his well-being and paying the ultimate price for his choices. When Shannon finally acknowledged that his ESPN career was over, you could hear the devastation in his voice. This wasn't just a job loss. It was the destruction of everything he had built in media. All because he couldn't listen to the people who were trying to save him from exactly this scenario. The settlement that followed reportedly cost Shannon tens of millions of dollars, but the professional damage was irreversible. ESPN couldn't afford to be associated with someone who had been accused of SA, regardless of how the legal case was resolved. Both Cat Williams and Monique had seen this exact outcome and tried to prevent it. They understood that Shannon's relationship choices weren't just personal decisions. They were career-threatening risks that could destroy everything he had worked for. Shannon ignored their warnings, and now he's paying the price they predicted he would pay. One of the most telling aspects of Shannon's legal battle was his refusal to view the video evidence that his accuser's attorney claimed to possess. This wasn't just a legal strategy. It revealed something fundamental about Shannon's approach to his own situation. Shannon's refusal to view evidence in his own case raised serious questions about his confidence in his version of events. Most innocent people would want to see exactly what evidence existed against them, but Shannon apparently wanted to maintain what legal experts called plausible deniability. The video became a central piece of the settlement negotiations, with Shannon's team acknowledging its existence while
like 30 seconds
out of a 10-minute accuser's attorney to release the full footage rather than edited clips.
He's caught in a bitch.
He's black man, and I believe he's going to release a 30-second clip of a that tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so. Hey, Tony, instead of releasing your edit, put the whole video out.
This statement revealed that Shannon knew exactly what was on the recording and was confident enough in his interpretation to demand
how he don't have the video.
Release. But his legal team's reluctance to let him view the evidence suggests they understood it might not support his public statements.
Him refusing to look at the evidence just gives me the impression that he wants plausible deniability, and maybe the evidence should be released so that way he does not deny his actions. I mean, if that was me, I would definitely want to look at the evidence to see what I did and did not do, so I can maintain my innocence.
The contradiction between Shannon's public confidence and
but now we know, and we all know now, it's better to settle, I guess, in the long run for Shannon Sharpe, because The money on
It
train.
suggested that even Shannon's
He
own
keep on
legal
going.
team understood
The money on
footage
train
was
might
more
be
damaging
cut off
than he wanted to admit.
for good.
This
At least he
pattern
can
of
come back from
avoidance and
this shit.
denial connects directly to how
Hopefully.
Shannon had handled the warnings from Cat Williams and Monique. Just as he had refused to seriously consider their advice about his relationship choices, he was now refusing to confront evidence that might force him
this nigga ain't gonna get no nigga on the street.
consequences of
$23
those
million.
choices.
Maybe not even
The man
$100.
who had laughed off Cat Williams' warnings
But he
and
getting these white
dismissed
hoes
Monique's
and the
advice
white people
was now facing the
all his
exact
bread.
scenario
What going
they had
on?
both predicted. But this nightmare was far from over. The worst was yet to come. By July 2025, it became clear that Shannon Sharpe was ready to make the
This
nightmare
nigga
go
wouldn't give a
away.
nigga $100 on the street. He saw a nigga need $100.
On July
He getting the white
18th,
hoes.
Tony
His
Busby
whole fucking
announced
life,
that the
fortune, and
lawsuit
everything.
had been settled for an
But you can't make this
undisclosed
shit up.
amount, with all parties agreeing that the matter was
If you just
closed.
want to work and give
He
all your
said,
money on back to the white
all
people,
matters have
fuck
now
it.
been addressed satisfactorily, and the matter is closed. The lawsuit will thus be dismissed with prejudice. The phrase dismissed with prejudice meant that Zuniga couldn't refile the same claims against Shannon in the same court. But while the legal matter was resolved, the professional consequences were just beginning. Industry insiders speculated that the settlement could have been as high as $23 million.
That's what I was thinking.
Neither side confirmed
$23
the
million.
amount. What we do know is that Shannon agreed to pay enough money to make Zuniga disappear from public view.
And a
She
lawyer.
reportedly retired from OnlyFans shortly after the settlement. But Shannon's
How the
problems were
fuck
far
you
from
retire
over.
OnlyFans hoe?
ESPN had been watching the situation closely, and the network's decision makers had apparently concluded that bringing Shannon back would be too risky, regardless of how the legal case was resolved. On July 31st, 2025, ESPN officially cut ties with Shannon Sharpe. The network's decision came just 2 weeks after the lawsuit settlement, making it clear that settling the case hadn't saved Shannon's career.
I will not be returning to ESPN. I found out this information a little earlier in the week.
Shannon's response revealed how devastating the timing
What kind
was
of
for his
fucked me up
family.
was
His brother,
I
Sterling
reacted to some
Sharpe,
of his
was being
videos,
inducted into the Pro
and that nigga had
Football Hall of
copyright
Fame,
claim on his shit.
and Shannon
I'm
had
like,
asked
damn.
ESPN to delay the
You making all this
announcement
goddamn money
until
on,
after the ceremony.
and you got copyright claim on your
ESPN
shit, and niggas can't make money off
adding
your shit.
insult to injury by
But you get out the
overshadowing
white people all
Sterling's
your goddamn
moment
money on.
with news of
But us
Shannon's
niggas
firing.
trying to
Brutal
make a
reality
way
is that
and
ESPN's decision
hustle.
makes perfect sense from
You
a
ain't
business
nothing get a damn
perspective.
thing.
The
But you let
network
these
is
white
owned by
hoes and these
Disney,
white people get
which
everything
has
you got.
zero tolerance
What's
for the
going on,
kind of
Shannon Sharpe?
controversy that Shannon had
The fuck,
generated.
nigga?
Even if
Yeah.
Shannon had been completely
We got,
innocent of the
we got real
allegations,
niggas out here,
the
black
mere
niggas
fact
out here
that he had been
hustling,
accused
trying to make
of
some money
SA
on.
and
This
had to
nigga out here
settle
getting the
for
white people all
millions
his
of
goddamn
dollars
bread.
made him unemployable at a
Can't make this shit the
family-friendly
fuck up.
network. Shannon's fall from grace was complete. In January
Oh, give a nigga a dollar,
2024,
nigga.
he was at the
Look,
peak
he
of his
getting white
media
people everything he
career,
got.
hosting one of the most popular podcasts in sports
Goofy
and
shit.
appearing regularly on ESPN's flagship morning show. By August 2025, he was unemployed, tens of millions of dollars
And the clip that I
and
recorded,
facing an
it was on like a
uncertain
3-minute
future
clip.
in media.
So I just took it out.
The most tragic
I'm just
part
like,
is how
damn,
preventable all of
that's
this
crazy.
was. Multiple people had warned Shannon about exactly this scenario, but he had chosen to
He
ignore
was
their
fucking a bitch
advice
for 10
and
minutes.
pursue relationships that put him at
Paid him
risk.
50 M's
Now he was paying the
I'm watching
ultimate
the clip.
price for those choices.
of his channel for 3
Perhaps
minutes.
the most
I
damaging
can't get a
revelation
dollar.
of all was what this entire saga revealed about who Shannon Sharpe really was beneath the polished television persona. As fans watch
He could've
Shannon
gave his
Sharpe's
daughter
career
$23
implode in
million.
real time,
Yeah.
they have to ask ourselves, who was this man really? The Shannon Sharpe who appeared on television every day seemed
At this
confident,
point, it's like
successful,
he like a
and in control.
mushmouth, a
But the
baboon,
Shannon
a
Sharpe
coon.
revealed
I
by
don't
this
know.
lawsuit and his response to various warnings seems like someone else entirely. Looking back at the Cat Williams interview, Shannon's
Now,
dismissive
you can say
response
whoever
to
you want
legitimate
to.
warnings now seems
But at the end of the day, your
incredibly
actions speak
arrogant.
louder than your
When
words.
someone
You
with
get what I'm
Cat's
saying?
insight
So,
and experience tells you
you
that
can
you're
date
playing with
anybody.
fire, the
And
smart
if you're a good
response is to
person,
listen, not
you're a good
laugh.
person. But if you're a
But
whole ass
Shannon
nigga,
acted like
you're a
he
whole
was
ass
above
nigga.
the kind of
And
consequences that had destroyed other men in similar situations. The fan reactions to Shannon's downfall reveal how many people saw this coming. People were saying this was inevitable, that paying off his accuser didn't solve anything but likely saved him from further embarrassment. Others pointed out that Shannon had created his own problems by pursuing relationships with much younger women despite being warned against it, that he played stupid games and won stupid prizes. Perhaps the
you couldn't get no 35-year-old?
Perhaps the most common reaction was people pointing out that Monique had literally predicted this exact scenario, that he should have listened to her when she told him on his own show to stop chasing young women and find someone age-appropriate who could actually care for him. What this reveals about Shannon is that he was never as smart or self-aware as he appeared on television. Despite having access to wise counsel from people like Cat Williams and Monique, Shannon chose to believe that he was somehow special or immune to the consequences that had destroyed other men. The Instagram Live incident should have been his wake-up call, but instead of seeing it as a warning sign, Shannon treated it as a minor embarrassment. This shows a pattern of denial and poor judgment that extends far beyond his dating choices. Some reactions got very specific about what the lawsuit revealed about Shannon's personal preferences and behavior. The details that emerged during the legal proceedings painted a picture of someone whose private life was very different from his public persona, with people commenting on his apparent preference for situations that put him at risk. The most damaging revelation is that Shannon was apparently willing to risk everything: his career, his reputation, his financial security, for relationships that multiple people had warned him were dangerous. This suggests either incredibly poor judgment or some kind of compulsion that he couldn't control. The financial aspect of Shannon's downfall is particularly painful to watch. People noted how he essentially gave his wealth to someone who was barely out of her teens when their relationship began, transferring generational wealth to someone who had contributed nothing to building it. What makes this even worse is that Shannon had been financially successful for decades. He had NFL money, media money, and podcast money. But instead of using that wealth to secure his future, he ended up giving much of it away to settle a lawsuit that could have been avoided if he had just listened to the people trying to help him. The tragedy of Shannon Sharpe is that he had everything: success, money, respect, platform, and threw it all away for relationships that everyone around him could see were going to destroy him. He had people in his corner trying to save him from himself, but he was too arrogant or too addicted to dangerous situations to listen to them. Now Shannon is unemployed, financially devastated, and facing an uncertain future. All because he couldn't take advice from people who genuinely cared about his well-being and could see where his choices were leading him. Anyway, that's it for the video, folks. Bye.
Insane. Shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Shannon Sharpe fired from ESPN, but it get worse.
He stepped down from ESPN while that was going on because he thought that he was coming back at the beginning of the preseason for NFL. Well, NFL preseason is beginning to start next week, or I think this week, and they just fired him. Damn!
Shannon Sharpe had left Fox Sports in 2023. By the time he was leaving the show with him and Skip Bayless, everything was all good. He was joining First Take on ESPN, and he started August 2023.
Stephen A. Smith gotta be taller than a bitch.
Of course, those episodes was hit. That wasn't the biggest thing coming his way. Fast forward! January 2024, Shannon Sharpe would shock the world with one of the greatest podcast interviews of all time, the Cat Williams episode. And from there, everything started to come into fruition.
Yep.
He was on ESPN, making a lot of money. Nightcap with Chad Ochocinco was popping.
Crazy.
The brand deals were coming in.
Crazy.
Not
he could have been a billionaire.
Own liquor.
He could have been a billionaire.
Shannon Sharpe couldn't be stopped. Money was coming in everywhere. He's making more money in a year than he probably made in his entire NFL career. But there was a problem. Shannon Sharpe got a little beside himself. And, of course, like most guys, you can think that you're unstoppable until he met a 20-year-old by the name of Gabriella Zuniga. She worked at a gym that he was visiting, and, of course, we all know that Shannon loves those white women.
He already turned down. He already talked shit about the black woman. Come on, how you don't like black women with nappy hair and weave? Take them nasty ass reptilian with them nasty ass lice written hair, bitch, and get $50 million taken from you.
Clapping a lot, unclapping a lot, until he got hit with the lawsuit.
Yes, sir, Steve. Crazy.
A lawsuit. Yes.
Talking crazy about black women. How you want to date them? If you dating nasty ass, lice written ass, wet dog smelling assholes.
She went and got with Tony Busby, a famous lawyer known for shaking down black men. Tony Busby shook down Deshaun Watson in one. Tried it with Jay-Z and lost.
Yeah.
But hey, third time's a charm.
Shannon Sharpe, I guess he was
a lot of evidence on Shannon Sharpe. That's crazy. And Shannon Sharpe was shook. For whatever reason, Gabriella Zuniga had a lot of text messages, voicemails. She had some information on Shannon Sharpe that literally could ruin his career. Now, we want to be honest. Shannon Sharpe has prior history of women in the past talking about how he was abusive, and this also
I know he got another lawsuit that
he was on, so he's not squeaky clean.
Yeah, it's another lawsuit. He got another lawsuit.
He was shook. He turned down the first offer, which was to settle out of court. He wasn't going to go with that. And then they hit him with the $50 million lawsuit. And Shannon Sharpe did this.
To my family, friends, supporters, and colleagues, I want to speak to you directly and from the heart. This is a shakedown. I'm going to be open, transparent, and defend myself because this isn't right.
But we told you.
By Tony Busby.
We all was telling you. You date that white girl, she gonna take all that you got.
It tries to make me look guilty and play into every stereotype you could possibly imagine. That video should actually be 10 minutes or so.
We was telling him,
instead of releasing your edit,
don't date them white hoes.
I don't have it, or I would myself. You know what happened.
They gonna take all you got.
The encounter in question took place during the day at her invitation, and now that appears to be a deliberate
they're gonna be on some MLK shit.
Also known as Carly on OnlyFans.
Boy, y'all sit your stupid ass down.
Big dumb goof. Hell no.
Shannon Sharpe did something that was a move. He mentioned Jay-Z, which I thought was weak. Like, bro, like Jay-Z wasn't in the room with you when you was clapping cheeks.
At all.
Right, you know.
But again, he thought that everything was going to go his way.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it went his way.
To the court.
Got it. Shannon Sharpe made what he thought was the right move. He'll step away from ESPN and handle this, and once this kind of goes away, he'll come back to the network. Sounds smart. You don't bring anyone to your employer while you're dealing with your dirt. Handle your dirt. You come back to the network. All will be good. But then something happened in the meantime. Shannon Sharpe decided to go ahead and settle. We don't know how much money it was, but people started to believe that he settled for $23 million.
Yeah, 23.
He called black women gold diggers.
Yeah.
He told his own
He talked so much shit about black women. And that dumbass got the reptilian ass bitch, lice written ass bitch, possum face ass bitch. He didn't even want to pay
for his own, I believe it was his daughter's wedding.
Yeah. He would pay for his own daughter's wedding.
He was a willing participant. He was a willing participant in every single thing that he did, and I don't feel sorry for him.
He wouldn't pay his own daughter's wedding.
And then, of course, you know, the sisters had to come out.
He wouldn't pay his own daughter's wedding.
See how when you go to these white tea women and claim that black women ain't this and black women ain't that, we got too much mouth, we got too much attitude, we all gold diggers like Mr. Shannon Sharpe said. Do you see the outcome?
Dummy.
White tea women know how to play the game.
White women ain't shit.
They know.
Nigga, it's same shit but worse.
Yeah. The forbidden fruit.
Yeah.
They're gonna milk that. They're gonna milk you till it's dry.
That's what they're.
Now, if he settled for over $20 million,
you better be a fool.
That's crazy because he didn't even make that plan in the NFL.
I talk to you about the black woman. Why you pay your own daughter wedding?
A lady who's 20 years old, and then she retires from OnlyFans.
That's some whole ass
shit. But again,
shit.
the strategy that Shannon Sharpe has is, listen, I know it's a loss,
Cooning
but it's
and
not a
buffooning.
problem. I
At
can
his
get
best.
that money back.
At his
That's
finest.
his mentality, right? That's what he's thinking.
Coon
It's a strategy
and
thing.
buffoon.
Look, give them
We
the
won't
money.
give a black nigga $1. His own daughter won't even pay for the wedding.
I can make the money because
Boy, this gotta be getting.
of a
This
few
is
things.
stupid.
Number one, Club Shay Shay is popping. I got over 4
Nigga
million
gets a little bit of
subscribers
money
there.
on,
That's
and they
nothing,
start thinking
right?
they
I'm
the
gonna make the money
shit.
back. Two,
Same thing when Shaq called out Robert Griffin III talking about Angel Reese. Bitch, you still the same ugly ass nigga, but with money on.
good. And I'll be able to recover that money because, again, selling this,
Yeah.
all my brands will come back.
Yeah.
And obviously, guess what?
What happened?
NFL season is starting back, and I'm going to be able to go back to
ESPN.
yeah. It's okay. I'll have it all again. Right?
I mean,
well,
unless you go to another sports channel.
Officially was fired from ESPN. And we don't really understand what was the reason that he was fired. Definitely something happened because most articles are saying that he cut ties. Now, why is this important? Now, number one, Shannon Sharpe has his own platforms, right?
Yeah, he
got
does.
Club Shay Shay. He got
And he's still rich as hell.
It don't really matter. He don't need ESPN anymore, right? Well, that's where you're wrong. You see, Shannon Sharpe benefited a lot from ESPN. Why? Number one, he got a lot of exposure.
Yeah.
Okay? When you're on a show like First Take, and you're on there with people like Stephen A. Smith, you're in front of the entire world. So, by chance, if somebody
Sharpe, how you do this?
didn't know you, but they know that you had a YouTube channel, just being on ESPN alone helps you blow up tremendously.
Yeah.
It's the biggest gift that keeps on giving. And Shannon Sharpe is
always
expanding.
It's a
show
business,
host, right?
bitch.
He knows sports. He commentates really, really good on football and even basketball. So
Yeah, he
he's
comes
versatile
on really
with both
anything.
of those things. Great sportscaster, and people tune in to see him. But not only tune in to see him on ESPN, they tune in to see
On his
him
own
on
shit.
his own independent platforms.
Nigga, that
Number
nigga
two,
was running
Shannon Sharpe
shit.
gets a stamp of credibility from ESPN.
Shannon Sharpe was running some
he's
shit.
on there with a lot of really interesting people. You know, if you want to say Stephen A. Smith and other people there. So he's qualified. He gets a stamp of
Nigga
approval.
doing all the way
in the
for a
NFL,
white
but you're
woman.
on there with Stephen A. Smith
Boy, that's crazy.
and all these other guys. So you get a stamp of approval, not only from ESPN, but from Disney, who owns it. And we'll get into that. Three, ESPN actually tagged Shannon Sharpe on Twitter, now X, on Instagram. So the individual short form content that comes from ESPN, he's getting free promotion, which leads to traffic to his YouTube channels, okay?
Yeah.
Not only that, they sometimes take clips from Nightcap, his own personal show with Chad Johnson, and they then repost it. What does that do? It is the best clip farming system
He had it.
to promote.
It's like them Chinese. They got all the phones in one room, watching one video, running it up. Nigga, sweatshop shit. Nigga had it works.
And then also,
they got 100 phones in one room, watching one video, running up the money. Smart ass motherfuckers.
All right, that's number one. Number two,
you farming
look
the shit.
at the brand deal opportunities that come because you're Shannon Sharpe. Now, it's okay that you have Club Shay Shay. That's one thing, right? But because you work for ESPN, which is Disney, you are a person of high regard because Disney has a squeaky clean image. It's important to understand that, right? And if you work for Disney, which is a company that is so respected, it trains other companies how to deal in things like customer service and customer care.
Until like
it is the gold standard
4-5 months ago, nigga.
Disney. So if you're a person working for Disney, how you carry yourself offline really matters. Rewind. April 2nd, 2021. If you guys forgot, remember what happened with Paul Pierce? Paul Pierce, who was a commentator at that particular time on ESPN, did something pretty stupid.
Yeah, I remember.
He was in there with some chicks.
Mm-hmm.
He was married at the time. There were strippers. He was drinking, smoking weed.
Yeah, I remember.
Not illegal. This is on his own time. Okay. But what ended up happening to Paul Pierce? Fired. Right.
Damn.
Now, the reality is that ESPN cannot deal
try to get lit with some
a
hoes.
particular individual
They fucked
that
his
is
ass
like
up.
Paul Pierce, and in this case, Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe messed his career up the moment that he agreed to settle that out of court. In the eyes of Disney, that is an admission.
He was gonna lose more money on trying to fight the case.
What is the policy? All right.
You know,
ESPN talent agreements include strict moral clauses and guidelines around public conduct. Okay. Now, even though Shannon Sharpe is not really guilty of public conduct, well, because a lawsuit was there, this is what got Paul Pierce.
And this
basically
is crazy.
What this is
you get fired on like for everybody to see it.
As a person who has a sexual allegation against you, we can't have you working in our business because you make us look bad. And I just want guys to understand that also. Just because you have a good business, you don't really need other people. You need to rethink that. All right?
Yeah.
Yes, you do. Like, I've been on YouTube for 10 years. I used to have that mentality. But once you box yourself in like that, it's just so hard to grow, right?
Yeah.
And if people who have more than you don't like you and you piss them off, literally it's more hard for Shannon Sharpe to grow now than ever before.
Yeah, I mean, it's not possible,
he doesn't
though.
have that stamp of approval. He doesn't have that engine.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that weight. And the brand deals are just not going to be coming in as they were before because, bro, you got fired from ESPN. This is why you see Paul Pierce doing things like the Truth podcast now, instead of being on ESPN, and the reason is, to be honest, you know, he doesn't have that same level of credibility as he had before, because the image is now tainted. That's why Paul Pierce don't really care, and he's.
That's why I'm trying to tell y'all niggas.
Paul Pierce can't.
Kwame Brown is waiting. I'm talking about nigga every day waking up, looking on the internet, waiting for Stephen A. Smith to fuck up and do on some fuck shit.
What do you think? It's your boy Yoshi D Jackson.
Kwame Brown is waiting every day, looking on social media every day, looking for Stephen A. Smith shit to happen. Nigga, they waiting. Nigga, they prayed up out here.
Alright, we back. Crip, bruh. So, this gonna be just to say, they trying to get this nigga Shannon Sharpe out the paint. He got hit with this lawsuit, but they got something else in the storage. You know what I'm saying? And it's about to come out. Bruh. That's why I'm trying to tell people, man. People be thinking that, oh, I'm getting blessed because I'm this and that. Bruh, the wicked, they come up 3. You know what I'm saying? The wicked and the people who fuck up, they come up 3. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're moving faster than somebody that's blessed, you know what I'm saying, don't mean that you're doing better than the person. You know what I'm saying? Because you can lose you can get all that shit and lose it the next day, just like that. If you don't have God Yahweh. You get what I'm saying? So it's like you might want it might take a little bit more time to get to where you get, but when you get it and you keep it for however long because you got God Yahweh. And God gonna bless it back every time. No matter what the enemy try to do to try to take the shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't care. It being like it was prophets in the Bible, like Job, who was super rich, he lost everything, but he got it back. You get what I'm saying? But that's what I'm saying, bro. You know, shit can happen, bro. And, you know, like I said, people live in that moment, man. People don't think, I swear, bro, I don't know if people ever been in that moment, man, where you just like, man, I'm just living life, bro. I'm just trying to have fun, live my life, and just, get to where I need to get to. Not knowing you got sharks, lions, piranhas, all types of shit watching everything you do, waiting for you to slip. You know what I'm saying? So you just gotta be cautious. And sad thing about Shannon Sharpe, he about 60. You know what I'm saying? This bitch was 20. She got a $30 million scam on a 60-year-old who been in the game for like 50, 40, 30 years. Ever since he was like in NFL. And his brothers was in it. So, I don't know, bruh. Like I tell y'all niggas, bruh. Niggas get money on, man. And they start thinking they not black. They start thinking they not black. They start thinking they ain't that same ugly ass black nigga. You know what I'm saying? They start getting a little bit of money on. They think like, I'm upper echelon. Ugly, you still the same old nigga, bro. They take your ass out just like they take the regular nigga out. But we out this bitch, man. Hey, shout out to Cat Williams and Monique for trying to let Shannon know something. But we out this bitch. I pray this never happened to us or anything on this area. Hood, Northside, Big Crip Gang, Northside shit.
Hey, Dad, you know, dog, when we link up, dog, this shit be legendary. Even though this is instrumental, you the engineer on it, so Kodak everywhere.